right, we'll do a quick little mic check here. See if this works. See if this works. Running a little bit behind today, guys. See how the sound comes in for you guys. I couldn't get YouTube load up for some reason today. You hear an echo? Do you still hear an echo? A crazy echo. All right, let me know if you guys still hear the echo right now. Check the sound settings. I had to like move. I actually like cleaned the cleared out. Okay, good. So I was cleaning out like every so often, like once a month. I will I clean like the full PC out, like all the dust and everything like that. And when I do, I like unplug everything. And when I unplug it and plug it back in again, sometimes it kind of gets a little funky on us. All right. You can. Okay, great. Let's see. All right. Sorry, my kids were talking to their mom, and I couldn't get my phone back, and it was just crazy evening. I got back from a lacrosse meeting. It's literally one of those days where it just seems like it doesn't stop. So, we're here. You guys ready? All right, let me bring just plug this in. Let's see. Let me pull this up real quick. There we go. Let's turn this off. There we go. Good. We're in. All right. So, like the last couple Mondays in a row, you guys can see not a lot of movement today. And it was one of those things, when we look at the news for today, there was like nothing. It was just kind of flat. Again, I think because of where we are right now, we're literally at the very, the end of vacation season. Actually, I don't know if you guys were on this morning or not. My nieces and nephew actually start school. They're in Texas. They start school this Wednesday or Thursday. So East Coast, we still got a couple weeks to go, but this is a very, very popular weekend. I know you guys know that I do jiu-jitsu as well. I'm talking a little funny because I got one of the larger guys decided to try to slam me down as I was choking him today. So I ended up biting the side of my tongue. But even in class today, there was like 4 people. It was pretty, pretty small numbers today. And again, no news, nothing else. Again, a lot of things bounce back and forth. So again, euro dollar, you can see, really hasn't moved. I mean, nothing really across the board is even remotely close. Pound dollar is the only thing. And again, it's nice to see some pound strength in here, it going up. I feel that it's more the dollar weakening, not necessarily pound strength. But again, we'll dive into the charts to see that one. So going into tomorrow, we do have some very important data. So some of the levels we talk about today, particularly with the dollar, definitely got to focus on those 4-hour numbers. This CPI and the core CPI number, extremely important numbers. And here's why. Okay. Everything basically is focused right now around interest rates. Is it going to be good for the market, bad for the market? Well, here's the thing, okay? CPI is the change in price of goods, services, or goods and services purchased by customers. So this is really the true measure right here. It says is a majority of the overall inflation, okay? So inflation is what is driving everything right now. No inflation, Trump's saying drop. Everybody else, every other country in the world is continuing to drop, and we're not, okay? If we do see inflation, that'll finally give us kind of the, okay, you know what? We're starting to see inflation. We can't lower interest rates too much lower, okay? And again, you can see the previous was 0.1, and now they're saying 0.3. And again, they've been kind of, it's been bouncing back and forth. Come on, guys. Quiet today. So CPI is one of the most important numbers in the current environment that we're in right now, okay? Like I said, this can start a entire Twitter war tomorrow about how bad the Fed is. If this number is still basically at 0, if there's a surprise and it's lower than the forecast. I doubt the inflation number is going to jump to a 0.4 or something like that, but I could see it coming in as a 0.1 or 0.2. And again, that could set the markets completely, all over the place. And again, as soon as they start talking about, cutting interest rates a second time, that will shoot the stock market just straight up in the air. Okay. And again, they'll be like, oh, the economy's bad and inflation and, but again, that's what they're calling for. Every other country, yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be a big one. And then again, tomorrow night in the middle of chart school, the wage prices. Wage price index is kind of like one of those like, if it was like a U.S. based piece, it wouldn't move it too much. But because it is, Australia, and they're the only ones trading at that time. It's a little bit different over there. So, but again, 8:30 tomorrow morning is obviously CPI numbers. Even if this hits at 0.3, I think there'll still be banter back and forth to they'll still be banter back and forth talking about how important of a number this is. So again, all my news traders out there, definitely important. If you guys are new to the stream and you're just watching, one of the ways that we can play news is through Nadex. Okay, one of the advantages of Nadex to things like this is the fact that the most you can lose on it is whatever you get into it. You can try, you can get into some out of the monies pretty cheap. And again, that's where we'll be looking to kind of take advantage of this kind of CPI number tomorrow. Okay. Also, you guys will notice. So I can see that Ernest is subscribed to the channel. He has a star for a 1-month subscriber, and he's also a Twitch Prime member now because he uses Amazon. So if you guys have Amazon, you want to help support the channel, please go into your Amazon benefits and support the channel. We'd appreciate it. Lou, you're not on there yet, and Silent Dog, you're not over there either to support the stream. So if you guys could do that, that would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. If not, I understand that too. All right. Not everybody has Instagram. Oh, there we go. There's another one. Look at that. Everybody's got crowns, and you guys have like new emojis and stuff like that too. You guys can play with. So it is working. It did track it, thank God. So it did work. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. It definitely helps. So let's jump in here. And again, I was on that broadcast this morning for Nadex. All right, so you can see where we are. Going into Sunday. Okay, so this was a weird kind of Sunday. We had basically gaps on most pairs. And again, guys, if I do sound funny, it's because like my tongue is completely jacked up on the one side at this point. And I do apologize. I don't normally have like a list, but I'll get there, just not in the budget at the moment. I hear you, Silent. And Silent, they if you're talking about the subscribing versus the Nadex piece, the subscribing was just because they had Amazon Prime already. It's kind of like if everybody has Amazon Prime, they don't even know over here. But the other piece, make sure you're financially in a good position, and then again, you're good to go with Nadex. And again, you guys can click if you don't have a demo on the bottom down there. So this is not one of the pairs that really had much of a this one, not really the huge gap on there. Nothing crazy on this one. As more the other pairs, and you guys can see kind of the gap down. Again, push down, went to the bottom of the range. There is a wick down here. We've been kind of watching this area. Again, it didn't even go as low as the last time. This red spike, if you guys remember, is coming from this candle. Okay, this kind of big candle. We talked about the bear traps below here. Well, how about this? People were lined up ready to go. Again, this time it started to retrace very quick. So we did get a little bit of a burst down, right? And then price just kind of came up and retested. So really not a lot of movement in this one. Looking at it right now, you guys can see if we remove the action candles, the green is inside of this other body. So we're technically in a sideways position at this point. We're no longer in the downtrend setup. The downtrend setup was occurring basically ended Thursday and ended Friday, right? When we got short here and it went down. Okay, it did retrace all the way back down. It did hit the profit target in this green area. Again, triggered here, hit profit target right here. Actually, I guess today it finally hit profit. Okay. Again, that's the completion of the downtrend setup. Now we are sideways with a downward bias. That's it, right? On the lower time frame here, you can same thing. We are sideways. The red is engulfed. It looks like it's got a red, a green, red, green kind of retracement. And again, that's one of the things that's kind of putting the lid on this right now is this wick over wick right here. What did it do? It came up and hit the wick over wick, came back down again, grabbed some orders here, went back up and is stuck at the wick over wick again. So as far as anything tradable right now in this pair, there's not really much. I think tomorrow evening will be a good opportunity. Hopefully we get a nice little burst up or down. I'd like if we can get a burst up in this area to 71.70. I think that would be a great area to go to. Or even over here, the 71.50. That'd be a nice little pop area, okay? But this wick over wick right now is kind of keeping a cap on this one. And again, it will grind through eventually. Let's hope we can get up to here with that news burst and then be able to take this thing short before news. So that's where I'm kind of looking, right? Oh, cool, Lou, thank you. Yeah, there's a video in case you have any questions. So, Aussie, New Zealand. Okay, Aussie, New Zealand, I talked about this last week. We had this really huge spike down and then bam, this huge spike back up again and we kind of capped, right? This is the last time we saw really any clean movement, right? This red was above, so it didn't really kind of work the same way. But this was kind of the last area, and really it was off of this area, right? Price came up and kind of started to form a top. So interesting enough, we're making lower highs in this one, and we're making lower lows, okay? At this point, okay, we do have 2 consecutive higher highs, and we have 2 consecutive lower lows, like these bottom peaks. So we are officially in a downtrend. but we still have this wick here and this kind of little piece right here. Okay, so it's not quite a time to start shorting, but again, I am still in a shorting mood for this pair. I do believe that this one will retrace back down again. Hopefully, we don't have to wait till tomorrow night for this one actually to trigger, but it is kind of set up that way that that's what it looks like we're doing. So we're looking to kind of take over, and again, we've marked this blue area off. We have an alert or a trigger set over here at 104.35-ish, just kind of waiting for it to do its thing again. Very small bodies, waiting for a retrace, okay? And again, we do have that red, we do have a green, and we're starting to put some red in it. So if we can get it closed down somewhere below 104.53, again, I want it to close below, not just touch, because again, that's where those traps will be sitting in this area. I'd be looking to, take this one short. All right. Looking over the Aussie dollar. What do we got over here? Kind of a similar situation. This one's been a little bit more clean, right? Again, there was actually movement. It did grind higher and then start to go to the downside. We're in this candle right now, so we are getting a red, green, red. Looking for pullback areas. I didn't really love this one. This is what we saw on Friday, and then we went into Sunday right here. Okay, so kind of the same thing. Friday and then Sunday is in here. Again, not one of the larger kind of gaps that we could have played today. It was very small. It occurred right, where is it? Right here. Okay, right in here. You'll see really not a whole lot. It kind of came up real fast. So this one, technically this green candle is outside, so it would not be considered. Although the only way that it could be lower is if it was a gap, and there is a little bit of a gap there. So again, kind of skews where we are. It is basically sideways. You guys can see it did rally up and then kind of pulled back down again today. Actually, I guess it kind of continued its pattern from Friday, but it just pulled into an area of buyers and kind of just stopped. So, I mean, it spent, 16 hours of really doing nothing. A little bit of movement last night, and then 16 hours of nothing, and that's what we got here. Okay, so, again, need a little bit of movement. CPI will move this tomorrow because this pair is a proxy for gold. Okay, so CPI, inflation, what is gold? Gold is a hedge for inflation. This pair will have some movement tomorrow. Looking at the way that this one bounced and kind of turned, and the way that's starting to build supply right here, I'm definitely more bearish this pair. Let's see here. Let's see if we have the ability. Where is it? Pull ATR up first. It's 40. Let's see here. What was I looking for? Oh, measuring. Drawing. Measuring tool. Okay, so it's about 80 pips, 81 pips. So it's about 2 times the ATR to touch this bottom again. That may be again, we'll see what it does tonight. That may be a realistic place for us to kind of, take advantage of the downside of this one. Okay. That could be a potential target. We'll see what it does in the morning. Again, you guys just see it popped up right there. That's the measurement. We'll see if it's able to kind of go down and break that area. Like I said, we're at the very, very top of it right now. So I guess actually it's a little bit less. It's probably, it's about 70 pips. So it's just under 2 ATR. So that could be an interesting kind of play tomorrow. I think that may be what our trade of the day is going to look like. We'll see when we get closer to that 830 number. But if we get any type of spike down, I'd be looking for a retrace back up again on that one. So that should do well for silver and long run, I believe, but also a complete stock. Unknown gamer, don't worry about it, man. All trading is exactly the same. Okay, here's the thing. So a lot of people think, well, I'm a stock trader, I'm a forex trader. A chart is a chart. Okay, and one of the things that we believe in here is trading price action. Price action is about reading candles, understanding where buy orders and sell orders are. So I'm primarily a currency guy. I like the setups better than futures. And when I say setups, I mean the way that we can control specific amounts of money, the costs of doing it. There's not carries, there's not contracts that expire. I believe it's easier, but it's traded the exact same way. So everything that you learn from here, me looking at charts, if you want to take that over to the stock realm, it all works exactly the same way in the stock realm. A chart is a chart is a chart. Okay, that's one of the big things that a lot of people don't realize. People are like, "Well, I trade stocks and this." It's all the same, no difference. Okay, if you're able to understand where buyers and sellers are in a chart, Doesn't matter what it is. Gold, silver, oil, gas, soybeans, the euro dollar, Apple, Google, QQQs, SPYs, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. Okay, so that's what we're kind of looking for this guy. So switch over to the pound Aussie. Now this pair will definitely move a bit more. Okay, I brought this over. Let me do the set this one up this way, and I'll go in. Oops. Let's see. Change this one to daily. Change this one to 4 hours. Where is it? 4 hour, and we'll change this one to 30 minutes. Okay. All right. So this one, again, this red is inside of the sideways movement. We've talked about a bit of a retrace. Now, interesting, this went just higher, but didn't go quite high enough to grab this zone. I do really, really like this zone up here to the upside. It is forming supply, but it does look like it's ready to flip. And here's where this one's kind of a little funky. Ready? So here's your zone up top, right? Didn't quite make it. Here was your zone here. It went just above that. But what did we have? We had this level of retracement to the top side. Okay. So dealing with, again, this kind of racetrack up, that's what made this. Again, it wasn't one burst, but what did it do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, really 10 before we kind of flatlined. That's a lot without a single retracement. Okay, it's not this. Okay, so it's not going to be as fast of a retracement, but pretty nice move to the top side, and now it's kind of started to turn around in base. So it ran into something. It ran into a little area here, not the biggest area. Okay, so for me, what I would be looking for is, and I'll even adjust this just a tad, right? Let's go there. Okay, using the bottom of this again, that's your basing level. It's a little bit higher, but it's fine. If we can get price back up in this area, I'd be looking to sell because, again, it's eating up a lot. Again, this is a very little tiny blip. I don't think it's going to make it up here. I think it's going to start falling. It's only going to give us, though, at this point, reliably, it's only giving us about 120 pips, right? You can say only, yeah, it's a big movement, right? This pair tends to move quite a lot. Again, daily ATR on this one is, we're talking here is about 130. So can it move 120 to the downside? Absolutely, and that's kind of what it's setting up for. Now, this is not a Nadex pair. This is a spot currency pair. So one of the things you can look for is where did we get entry? So it failed to go high here, right? And again, if we drew our top zone, you guys can see here's the top piece. Bring it across. It did. It touched the top of the zone. If you're looking for a confirmation, you have your red, your green, and your red. So you can technically put yourself inside of this little zone right here, okay? And you're talking about 20 pips. Okay, you're already a little bit into it, but again, had you been able to catch this, if you guys look, I'll move that box out of the way. Let me actually just delete it. You guys can see we have a red, we have a green. This red is higher, invalidated. Red, green, higher, invalidated. Red, green, invalidated. Then all of a sudden we got the red, green, red. There's your confirmation trend change right there. Failure to go higher, didn't hit the zone. Confirmation to the downside, boom, off to the races. Okay, and even if you wanted to take this one conservatively, you could take this one to here. Okay, that's 98 pips. And again, your risk on this one, again, we're a little bit into the trade right now, so I guess technically your risk would be about 40 if you took it. So it's a 2-to-1 now, but again, the trade entry was here. Okay, and again, you guys may have missed this one, and that's fine. But again, it's the important thing is if you missed it, learn what to do on the next one. Okay? Any questions about that? Give you guys a second to answer. Not seeing anything yet, but I'll give you guys a second answer on them. But again, there's your confirmation trend to the downside. It is a racetrack on the 4-hour. We're looking for that to retest. And again, the 4-hour window, you guys can see we have a red, we have a green. It did not go in a high. And again, we're looking at the retracement. If we have a close here, there's your confirmation. It got front run off the actual 4-hour zone. It's going to happen. But we had a downtrend set up. Setup was right here to the downside. This is awesome. Glad I swam to the channel. Thank you. I appreciate it, buddy. So again, that's what we're looking for to the downside. Again, there's our trade setup for the night. Euro pound. So euro pound, whew, I have a love-hate relationship with this pair right now. Okay. So we went to the very, very peak, right? All the way to the top. And what did it do? Bam, it slammed right back down to the bottom and then kind of just stopped, right? So kind of predictable. Again, this happened today. All right. Again, you guys can see it kind of based across. There's Sunday into Monday, and then all of a sudden, wham! This morning. Okay, went straight down. Now, parabolic retracement. It went all the way back up. You guys can see there's the start of the move, and it retraced right to the very, very tip. So close, but it would have been questionable whether you got filled. So you'd still be up in the position. The spike, let's see, the spike on this one, the retracement up, would have given you about 40 pips on it. So not an enormous position, but again, it's kind of flat line. It's kind of base. It went right back. Now, this was a tricky one. And remember I talked about the gaps earlier? Here is the gap. Make this a bit bigger. Oh, can I do it? Here we go. Okay. Here's the gap. So we talk about this a lot of times, right? Gaps above in the direction we're looking for a retrace and takeoff. Gaps below, we're looking for a retrace and a short. Well, this one would have got you because here would have been your box, right? There would have been the area you're looking for. You're like, yep, I'm looking to go short when it hits that area. Well, what did it do? It went above, came up, and then collapsed. So it's one of those ones. When you got a confirmation to the downside, yeah, you could have taken it, but it was like, there was the gap fill, but I don't know what this junk is where it went just slightly above before it came over and then collapsed. So it did everything it was supposed to do except this little piece here. It's like, what are you doing? You filled the gap. Come on, where's the short? So it was almost a Sunday night gap play. If you would have taken it on the on the external, the movement of it, you would have got it. But man, that would have been frustrating had you taken it. It's like, yeah, it's just right there. So like I said, I'm ready for this thing just to come collapsing through with this, but we're not quite there yet. So right now, again, we did flat out. We had that big burst down, retracement back up, it refilled itself, and then has now flatlined for number of hours. This will have some movement tomorrow. Not as much. I mean, again, if you look at the news, there is this German economic sentiment. Germany is basically the driving force inside of the euro. So again, that will provide some kind of movement. The big movement in this pair for me is coming. Was it not on this one? I thought we had another day. You know what? It's probably considered on this one. Let's see. I believe there's one day where it's pretty full. Where is it? Is it Friday? I thought there was one where there's a block somewhere in here of pound news. Although none of it was, maybe it was today. No, I don't know where it is. There's a block somewhere in here. Maybe it was this. Maybe it was the euro that I was looking at. Yeah, so tomorrow, look, we have this one. We have German CPI, okay, and then again, German economic sentiment. So again, tomorrow's a morning for the euro. Maybe that's what the block I was looking for. I had the block written down, and I can't find it, of course. All right, but again, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for shorts in this one to head to the downside. I do like that this kind of just made it to the very, very tip of this and then drop below. I do like this zone right here. I think this is great. It was basing, and then exploded through. I'll be watching this also for news time. All right. Dropping in the euro yen. So, euro yen did what we thought it was going to do, right? We talked about how this was going to be an area of buyers. The last time it hit it, it shot up. And what happened again? It created another trap. It went just below where it did prior, right? Here was the low before. It went just lower, and what happened? Bam, trap again, okay? Now, I mentioned this morning, guys, that a lot of times what you're doing is you're looking for things to come down and start basing, okay? We want the base before the drop. This one came down. It kind of pulled back up again, grabbed some more orders, and then refilled the top. Again, very fast down, over, and back up again, and it went right back to the same area. So, in all essence, this one really didn't have that big of a day. You guys can see the Monday candle here, the Sunday into Monday. Very, very tiny. It's just a very, very base, and this blue area is a buying zone. So, it's one of those things. Man, I don't know what is with this bird tonight. Come on, you want to come out? If I scream, it's because the bird came out and attacked me. Hold on one sec. I know you guys can hear him chirping too, but here, guys, you can come out. There, now stop making noise. So again, because of all these factors, this is not a pair that like I'm really super in love with right now. Looking at the 4 hour, I don't really love, like nothing in here is really nice. Like this is a nice zone. This was a nice zone. This is a nice zone. This is just kind of just grinding, right? Nothing really great looking. But again, to a downside, I am going to be looking at this area. It's formed lower highs. I'm sorry, it's formed higher lows, right? And then shot off in 4 candles right back up again. So somebody hit the button here and started shooting this thing up. And again, this was coming online about 7:30, 8 o'clock this morning, where we got this rally back up into, again, this same zone, right? This 118, 118.20? Okay, so again, that's what we're looking for kind of a some type of a launching point. Again, it's descending all the way back down again like clockwork. Again, we talked about this here. It popped up, it hit the zone. You got a second entry right here, and it just grind. So again, I don't love anything for a short, but you would have just completed your profit target this morning at 3 a.m. from our trade that we had set up from last week from this wick over wick. So there would have been your completion. Here we drew it here, right? That's why it's short. And again, you can continue that out, and it triggered, and the target was right there. Okay, so you were holding this position a while. I don't like to hold over the weekend, but trade ended up working out. Go into the euro dollar. Look at this excitement. Look at this fire, guys. Hold on, I'm gonna give you this in the chat. Let's see. Nope, of course there is none. Man, I can't. There's nothing. I was gonna try to find a funny one, but I can put that guy. There you go. There's that guy. Because there's nothing. For 5 days, we've been just bouncing back. Look at this. Literally stuck to this 120.40 range, right? It just stuck here. I mean, even when we did get this burst down this morning at 2:30 in the morning, it just rallied right back up to the same exact area. So this one is just, this one is on vacation, I think. It must be, I don't know where it's at, but yeah, it's just dead, right? Nothing. Totally sideways. And again, if there's sideways movement, we just find something else, like I said. I am going to be short this one eventually here. I do believe it's going to come back down to this 111 area, about 150 pips from where it is right now. CPI number, this one should move tomorrow for CPI. This is another one to look at. Start looking at this one at about 8:30 or about 8 tomorrow. CPI number comes out at 8:30. That could give you the telltale signs that, hey, listen, it's starting to move. It's going up. Okay, look for price to collapse. Or vice versa. Price is starting to grind down. Look for that to switch and flip and start to head back up in the air. So keep track of that one. All right. I think all eyes are, like I said, CPI has the potential to be an absolutely huge number in the morning. Now, as I mentioned before, Nadex is a very popular pair to trade this with. Why? Because we can only lose what we put into it. Look for some out of the monies tomorrow. Look how this thing is rallying up. Unfortunately, in the 4 hour, there's really not a whole lot top and bottom that we can go to, minus this area up here, but that's a lot of movement overnight. It may get stuck up in this range, or even maybe down in one of these two little areas over here, or here. That wouldn't be a bad area. If we can grind into kind of this, what is this, 111.91 area, then we could be looking for some type of position up here. Maybe 2 or 3 kind of strike prices out in the euro. That could be an interesting play. And again, drop it into those 2 hour binaries. The spreads are only 7 apart. We can get 4, we can get 4, 4 strikes out, and it's well within striking distance. Okay. Remember, targets are based off the ATR on the daily for what the news can do for us. All right. Now, for you indice traders or futures traders, be ready for reversals tomorrow morning. Okay. If the number is really strong one way or the other, then yes, it's just going to run. But if it's kind of a wishy-washy number, yeah, wait for a reversal tomorrow morning. There'll definitely be one over there. Now, looking at Euro Aussie, again, Euro Aussie is another one of the big movers. Okay. This one, just again, so we talk about big movers here, right? This one, again, it's gotten higher, but even like on the low side here, we're talking about 100 pips. Okay. It's been doing 150 pips over here. So this one definitely can move. All right. Now, we are in an uptrend. Okay. We are technically sideways with an upward bias that hits very, very fast. But here's the thing about the bottom side. We basically have a double wick. Okay. Double wicks, again, show me that the orders were established and cleared. And you guys can see it kind of came down here, went lower, kind of did it again. And again, no wicks on this one. And again, here, and this kind of bounced off the top of it. But, this is going to be attempt number 3 if this starts to fall. I still want to take over this range back in here. And again, we're making now, again, we did break some levels to the top side. We had a level here, level here, level here, level here, level here. The trend was broken to the top side, and it kind of did its thing. It kind of went up a little bit, and now it's starting to falter again. Okay, so for me, if we get, really, I'd like to see it over here on the 4 hour, but if we get, oh God, bird just jumped on me. Hold on. Scared the heck out of me. All right. So if we do get kind of that confirmation over here, and we kind of have it, but I don't really love it right now, I want to see a break of this area, this little base right here. You guys see this? Up, sideways, and up. I want to break this area right there is what I'm looking to break. All right. And then I'd be willing to start looking for shorts because again, this is a pretty big rejection right here. You can see price pulled back pretty far. Again, on the 4-hour, you can see just kind of it stopped. It made multiple attempts up, and it's a single wick. You have this single wick here, and you have another single wick right here. So it's showing me that we definitely have some sellers above where we are. All right. More bearish this one too. Like I said, I think we can go back down and probably ding off this bottom level again. Down to what? 164.19. It's kind of where I'm looking for. All right. Here, I'll put a line there so we can mark it off. Kind of looking for something over in there. Okay. So funny, I forgot that I let the birds out. Next thing you know, one lands on my shoulder. And of course they have like, little talons, Pound yen. So, talk about a womp. But we do have a downtrend setup. Okay. The problem with this downtrend setup is where are the orders? Okay. There's a little bit of a wick behind a wall right here. And it's okay. There's a little wick behind a wall right here too, but again, we can't see that one. And this was your gap. Price closed here, opened here, and then again came down. Okay. And it basically, the gap is from here on Friday. It basically stayed in the same spot. So it hasn't actually moved. Really, if this rallies back up again, we have a downtrend setup situation with an entry at 128.40. But besides that, there's really not a whole lot there. Even looking down here on the lower time frame until we get back up to that dotted line, which is right here. Right? Here's that dotted line right here. Where is our explosive movement in here? There's not. Here's the gap. Look. Popped up away, kind of went below, and then came up, and it's still resting exactly where we were on Friday. So the fact that the most explosive thing we have is like kind of this right here, which is Friday at 11 when the London market opened. I don't really don't really like a lot until we get up. So it's got a bit to run to the top side. That's all I really see. Like I wish there was more with this pair. And again, I love these big kind of movements here, but it's just nothing in here is screaming, there's a good one. We got to trade that one. So that kind of bugs me with this position right now. The green one is out again. Going across the pound dollar. Now again, kind of something similar. This one is a little bit different in the fact that it did come up and grab an area to short. So we mentioned this blue area was big. We kind of went low, kind of went high. Then we broke out. Now, again, the problem with this trade, if you guys remember, we have this purple line and this purple line. Okay? These purple lines were formed. Come on, keep going. By this area. Okay, we had this big gap down back in January of 2017. Okay, nice little rally off that area. Okay, go back to the present. What did we do when we broke this blue area? Come all the way back across. Okay, we cracked into it. We gapped higher. We dropped, and then we pushed back up again. Okay, so I was looking for this blue area to break. I was looking for retests off this area. We did have retests, but the problem is we're looking to go short into an area of buyers, which is a big no-no. Okay, so again, this is one of those things. We have to figure out if this bottom side is going to actually break or not. It just hasn't been there yet, right? I mean, literally, I talked about this as well. This green dotted line right here, this would have been a support and resistance lover's dream. Okay, and again, this happened Sunday night. If you guys, hopefully nobody traded this. I really hope you guys didn't. But what did we do? We marked a low here. If we break through the low, that means obviously the zone is shot, right? We should be looking to go long at this zone. And again, what did it do? It went past. This is the exact opposite of the other one. Like there was a zone. We were looking to go long if it got in that zone. This one broke past and went above. So this, because it's such a low, again, this was a support and resistance trap. Okay, people are like, oh, if it breaks this, I'm shorting it. And I put my stop loss on the other side. Well, there's the base above. Here, I'll move it to you. There's like the little level of basing, right? Really about there is the level of basing, right? So support and resistance traders are saying, okay, there was the base. I'm going to put my stop loss there. That's why price ran all the way up here to take these guys out. And if it didn't take you out on that one, you're like, whoo. This is like when the price is here, you're like, oh God, dear God, get this back to break even, and I'll never do this again, I promise. And then price dropped back down again. You're like, see, I knew what I was doing. Forget that. I break my deal. And then price goes up and takes you out. And then what does it do? It goes over, it retests off that same zone, and then brings you all the way back up to the start of the move up top again. Okay, so it's done what it was supposed to do. It set its trap on Sunday. If you guys caught this one, congrats off to you guys. You should have. That's what you're looking to do. But again, is there movement? Is there a trend in this position right now? The answer is not really. I mean, again, It's a downtrend setup. It pulled back. It's trying to grab things, but where's it going to go? It only has the ability to go down to here, 120.46. So there's just not a lot of movement really. This really can move to the downside. All right. Now tomorrow morning CPI, absolutely this could be a mover, and here's why. The pound is super weak right now, right? I mean, the pound's all messed up. Brexit, they're getting closer. I mean, we're really getting up to that point to where, man, whew, Brexit's coming. What's going to happen? All right. So, with that being said, the pound we know is weak. If the dollar comes in strong tomorrow, okay, if the dollar comes in strong with that CPI number, this would be the pair to play it against. Okay. Now, if the dollar comes in weak, weak versus weak is not as much fun. Then I would play it against the euro because although the euro is not strong, the pound is definitely weak, if that makes sense. Okay. So that's where we're looking to go with this guy. So pound New Zealand. So as you guys know, pound New Zealand is also a mover. And again, you guys would have finally hit that target here on Friday. Remember this big retracement up? Since that time, all it did is it hit off this lower level. It's kind of bounced back and forth and just kind of stabilizing on sideways. You had a little bit of a pop going into Monday morning. Again, it popped up. It went basically to this basing area and is now stopped. So kind of a similar pattern. It is sideways. Again, it went from the top all the way to the bottom. It is sideways, with an upward bias right now. But as far as actual trend or movement, there's not really a whole lot. It's just what I would do in this one is wait for wait for a little bit of pound and New Zealand news, wait for a spike, and then we'll play the retracement. Monday with no news in either of these two pairs, there's not really a whole lot here. Even on the 4 hour, if you're looking right now, yeah, technically we're outside, but we're an anchor break. And what are you going to do? You're going to drop these, what are we talking here? 08 to 9, yeah, what is there, 10, 11 pips here? There's nothing there yet, right? Even if you're to take it all the way back down, there's more if you're going to take it all the way down, but hold on, this should be 4 hour. I was like, wait, it doesn't look right. There we go. Okay. Yeah, on the 4 hour, you guys can see nothing really. I mean, we're basically sideways, right? If you consider this just outside, which I guess it technically is a little bit outside, again, this would be an uptrend setup. But again, where are you grabbing? What are you looking to grab here? We got a little bit of room here. Look to the left. You can see we're in a zone right here, right? If I put a line here, you guys can see there's a zone, and that's exactly what we're bouncing off of right now. Okay. Next zone is sitting right here. So you're talking about going from 187.51 to 188.06. So there's about a 50 pip range in between those two looking for selling orders on the 30-minute. But again, this is not a bad zone, right? Popped, grabbed, and then shot all the way back down again. So, uptrend setup, but you're into an area of sellers. So not really the best idea. Again, like I said, wait for a burst and let's play the retracement on this one. New Zealand dollar. Welcome, Ryan and James. You both also have your crowns and your subscribers. You guys can see that. I give you guys I didn't do it earlier, but I can give them I think there's a princess. And again, you guys can play with the emojis too. The emoji thing is in the message line, the little smiley face. And there's the bits, but I don't fully understand the bits. Because when I click it, it says you cannot cheer in your own channel. So I can't be my own cheerleader. You guys have to be the cheerleader for me. New Zealand dollar. Again, we know how this pair plays. This one actually did not retrace all the way back up again, which was kind of depressing. There's multiple ways for you to get out of it. Huge spike to the downside, though. And again, it's been kind of dinging off this golden area, right? It's been really kind of just stopped, right? This golden area was formed off of this drop, kind of sideways dropping motion. It came up, it breached the top, it retested, and then it went higher. But now it's kind of just stopped, right? And we've hit it here, and we hit it here, and we hit it here, and we've almost hit it over here again, but really not a lot of movement. And again, if you guys look at the ATR, minus this gigantic spike right here, the average ATR in this one is only about 40 pips. So to go back to the top side, let's see, how much movement do we have? We got about 70, but there's nothing in here that's telling me it's going to pop, right? Looking to the downside, kind of a similar situation. If we're managed to break this zone, this is a pretty nice little pop here. So we know we got buyers here. We know we got buyers right below it. So kind of the same situation. Again, I don't trade New Zealand too often. If we do trade it, the pound New Zealand seems to be the better of the two movers. It will move tomorrow, but I think the Aussie dollar being more linked with gold, the euro dollar for a kind of a dollar weakness position, or a pound dollar with a dollar strength position, I think are the better opportunities versus this pair. I think just for the risk, the risk and the spread and the amount of movement you can potentially get out of it, I think this is the weaker of those those other three. So I'd probably play in other areas. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss is a little bit interesting right now. Okay. And again, you guys can see it's starting to get wicky again. It's kind of slowing down and it's starting to get wicky. It's kind of getting funky on the 4 hour too, right? We had a pop and then another pop and then another pop. And then there's this golden line and it came up and touched the golden line today, at 4 a.m. and then kind of came down and just stopped, right? So this one it's not as flat as the other pairs. But what makes this position interesting right now is because this is the pair that's based off of like political uncertainty. Is that what the crown means? Oh, the crown just, if you hover over it, no, the crown means just your Twitch Prime. And I got the broadcaster sign. This one is based off of political uncertainty, missiles, protests, shooting drones down. That's what moves this pair. Okay. We didn't have anything today. Obviously, it's Monday, so all the people that are focused on that kind of stuff were obviously not around today. We need something on this one, right? Where we are right now is we are downtrend confirmed. Obviously, we are lower. We look across. We are it's out, but we're going to start running into some problems. Okay, and here's why. We've just kind of breached the very, very bottom of this zone. Nope, get off the mouse. Whoops. There we go. Back in your cage. So here was the low. Okay, last time we hit the low, people got snagged by that trap and it launched it back higher. So we're at that area again. And again, we went a little bit lower than we did before. But I still have that feeling that you guys both flew back in your cage and you're chirp now. I still have that feeling that this thing is going to want to kind of ride up a little bit, right? And again, with dollar strength, a good CPI number, this will move a bit tomorrow. I just feel like there's going to be more traps in here. And again, it's been a long time. You guys see? We're talking back into September of last year. It's been a year since price has been down here. And looking at that candle, you guys can see price is here right now. The start of this move was at 96.66, 30 pips from where we are right now. Okay, so in 30 pips, we are starting to deal with the buyers associated with this area that launched this thing. And this was a pretty nice move. This was 130 pips in one day. Okay, you guys look at the ATR of this pair, right? Oops, I thought I had it there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it came up. So the ATR in this one is about 50. So it can definitely get into this range. All right. That's a big move. It's over 2 times the ATR. Okay. So there's definitely some buyers sitting in that area. And we're starting to get close. We're within striking distance right now of that area. So just a little bit cautious about that one, right? Looking to the downside. And again, that's a daily zone. Those tend to be a little bit stronger. All right. And last time we saw it, it hit and then launched itself up 50 pips. So just be careful with that one. All right. Going to dollar CAD. Yeah, you didn't know Twitch Prime was a thing. I didn't realize that Twitch Prime was free when you had Amazon. Because I think Amazon is like, the way I look at Amazon at this point is everybody has Amazon, right? Like everybody has a Sam's Club, a BJ's, or a Costco membership, right? So those are like the standard things. Like everybody has those. And at the same time, everybody has Amazon because we all like free shipping with Prime, right? Sounds like they want to trade. Try taking the mouse. Yeah, they did. They tried. One of them. Yeah, one of them. Actually, it's not this one. My other gaming mouse has it's got a bunch of buttons on the side. It's what's it called? It's like a Razer Mamba or something like that. It's got the 10 kind of G keys on the side of it. One of the birds comes down, is absolutely fascinating. Has already pulled one of them off twice. Did you do that one? I did, but I'll go back to it if you want. Pound yen is one of those ones that's a little bit depressing right now, but I'll go back to it. I'll do it after this one. So dollar CAD, guys, you can see absolutely flatlined. Looking at dollar CAD over here, you can see it's moved 10 pips in 24 hours. Look at this. It just it kind of grind up just slightly to this zone and just flatlined. Again, the trade for this one would have been on Friday. That spike up, we hit and retrace back down. 65 up, 65 down. And then its retrace level is exactly where it's at. Look, it retraced halfway through this one and bam. Stuck. Nothing. Okay. This pair will move in the morning with CPI. As I said, basically anything dollar based is going to move tomorrow with CPI. So again, just keep that front brain. That again, you could be looking at this one. So, but the CAD's a little bit different. I still like the other three better. The CAD would be a close second to that one. And again, we need something. There's the 2 days with very, very tiny bodies. And again, this happens. This is just trading. Like I said, when the trades are there, you take them. When the trades are not there, you find the best opportunities. These are just not it right now. Okay. Let me do dollar yen, then I'll jump back to pound. So dollar yen is grinding down. We're kind of looking for this bottom section. Did you get a chance to review my trade from forex? I didn't, Ryan, because I went out after jiu-jitsu, came back, did a couple things for a video, and then literally I ran back out again. So I'm gonna do it as soon as we get off tonight, and I'll go through it for you. Um, Not a lot of movement. Confirmed downtrend to the downside. Not necessarily. I mean, I wasn't necessarily surprised by this one. Um, when you're looking at it, the overall markets and things like that, it just wasn't surprising. You know, when you looked at the S&P for today, we were down. Was it S&P was down? What? Let's see. 35. Dow was down 389. Nasdaq was down 95. Right. Russell was down 18.6 or 18.58. So again, not surprised that this was still continuing to push down. Um, we'll see what it does. I don't really this area top. It's okay. I don't really love any of the bursts that I see in here. Again, CPI will be something to watch out for because CPI is going to affect the overall markets tomorrow. The indices will move based off of that, and then this is going to react to that one. As far as technical trading, the bear trap on this one is down here located at 104.80. And you guys can see with price being at 105.37, we're basically 50 pips from that bear trap. Okay. Um, uh, yeah, so the bear trap is going to be dangerous. People are going to be trying to short the heck out of this thing when it hits 105.80, and I would expect a pop up to be able to take stop losses out. So just be a little cautious if you guys get short that one, especially anytime before news. Okay, let me go back. All right, so what I talked about in this one was basically, and I'll be abbreviated with it. It is a downtrend setup. We do have a pullback. We are pushing lower. It's been a while since price has been here, but price is basically just flatlined. It's been 12, 16 hours really since Sunday. Sunday happened here. We had this one little spike to the downside. Here was the gap, right? The gap went in the opposite direction. Okay, it went high, it went low, about the same difference, and then it pulled back. And this is where the gap was on Friday. This is where price is now. Like if I box off a box off Friday. There's where the box is on Friday. Look how much time. Actually, there's the box on Friday. Look at this. Up, down, back in, up, down, sideways, and then it's just stuck. So it's really lost most of its momentum right now. It is a downtrend setup. I don't like any of the selling here until we get up to this zone. So for me, I'm kind of holding out. I'm setting an alert, and I can put it over there if you guys want to see it. I'm going to set an alert probably here, 128.25. Let me change this to our designated alert color, right? I'm going to set it right below here. I like 120. I like 128.25 because that is also a quarter. You guys know I will trade quarters theory as well. And again, that's one of the quarters are something that I'm always looking for. Okay, so looking for some type of a bounce here and then come back down again for a short. Just kind of waiting for that. So I'm going to wait till it gets up to here before I'm looking to short it. I don't really love anything to the downside, particularly how this wick is. I mean, it didn't spend a lot of time, but continue to make all these areas where it's doing higher lows. It's putting in buying areas. So just a little bit cautious with it. We had a conversation about this pair last night. Not sure if you saw it. Dollar CAD, yeah, I saw it. Ryan's Ernest, sorry, I just saw that. Yeah. All right, so that's what I'm looking for there. CAD Swiss. I don't think there's anything on CAD Swiss right now that I was in love with either. No, it's still sideways. Yeah, like I said, a lot of these things are trending sideways right now. That's going to happen. It is what it is. Um, no, there's nothing set up on that one. CAD Yen. Again, CAD Yen is a. We'll talk more tomorrow about CAD Yen going into the oil number on Wednesday. We got a ways to go for this bottom section here. Let's see. I don't really necessarily like this zone. This is nice. I like 3 candles down, but I don't really like how this was here. It's not a bad zone setup here. That may be an area to take a short off of if we can get up to there. Actually, we could have shrunk this one down even lower. Quite a ways to go on that one. Here's a little intraday trade. If you guys have been looking for intraday trades today, this one triggered at about 10 a.m. this morning. I did not catch this one, obviously. But there would have been your position. And that is talking about 10 pips. Actually, you know what? Let me put this to the bottom side real quick. Let me draw it the other way. I forgot there's a method to this. Oh, sorry. It's actually 9 pips would have been the entire zone. Whoop. Change this to red. The bird's actually sitting on the mouth. It's sitting on the spacebar now. Click. Yeah, this one only moved about 25, so you didn't quite get 30 out of this one, but it was pretty close if you were looking for an intraday trade setup. Not the most beautiful setup in the world, but something along those lines. That would have been kind of where I would have placed my target. Would have been down here. And again, during the spike is when you saw it here. So what this would have been a downtrend setup on the 4-hour mixed with the 30-minute. I'm looking for a zone, and again, this is a pretty nice pop. The pop occurred about 3 o'clock this morning, so 3:30. So again, would have been a valid setup. Not that either the CAD or the yen were really in frame there, but that's when London came online, and it would have been a quick pop. And again, pop hit at about 10 this morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, to go back down again. So it would not have hit my first target. I would have dropped it lower, probably on the second push down here. It got real close. You guys want to see it here? So if you're putting your target here, again, the start of the move, you guys can see how close we got. It was close. It was a pipette miss to the downside. Okay, but again, same valid theory. This would have been, downtrend, obviously, so we're looking to go down. We had a downtrend set up on here in the intermediate time frame, and then we drop lower to go with our zones. There was your big push away. That's the areas we're looking for, is areas like that. Price rallied up, price hit the area. And again, actually, now that we zoomed in, there was your risk. So 30 would have been there. Actually did hit 30 pips because there's 30.8. 30s, there's 30.1. Oh, there you go. Basically right there. So there's your target. You did hit it. And that's over 3-1 because you're risking 7. You would have basically had to make, 21, 25, but 30 is a magic number that I use a lot of times. Your 3-1 risk to reward ratio trade would have actually been here. Oops, no, I don't want to move it. No, not that. Hold on, it's this side. There we go. There's your 3-1 risk to reward ratio trade. I do like the bottom level all the way down here, but again, there's your 3-1. So had you been taking this downtrend on the upper time frame, the intermediate time frame was giving you a downtrend setup. Look in the lowest time frame for the actual entry, the one below the one you use to determine where the trend, if there was a setup or not. Came up, grabbed the spike, turn around, boom, 3-1 risk to reward ratio. So I didn't take that one, but that's how you guys would have set that one up if you were paying attention to this as a pair. Like I said, Mondays are hard for me because I have to wake up early and I have to do the Nadex presentations and then get the kids moving and everything. So Mondays are always hard for me to trade. But again, if you guys grab this one, congrats. That's on the pound yen. All right. So any other questions that you guys have? What do you got for me? Anything? YouTube, you guys have been rather quiet tonight, but that's okay. What else you guys got? Anything? Lou, I can't tell if that's you have a question or it all makes sense. Go ahead, go back to your cage. Go ahead. Go. No, don't bite the pen. YouTube is blurry. Is it? Yeah, it's I don't know. It goes in and out. It says stream health is normal, but then it goes like, yellow sometimes too. Yeah, I can actually see on mine. It does look like it's a little bit blurry. I don't know. Sometimes it gets better, sometimes it's worse. If there is a zone and the price moves through it, is it invalid after there are bars in front of it? Don't mean to send yes by itself. Send me a picture of that one. I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, zones will break. Obviously they're not perfect, right? If zones break, you have a couple different options. Okay, one, you may just have the zone drawn slightly incorrect, and you always should add a buffer so that way you can handle the bid-ask spread on the backside. But if it does break, it means that it may be pushing through it. It may mean that there are no orders left in that area. Okay, in which case, then what you're doing is you're using that same zone as a takeoff area. Okay, what I mean by that is wait for it to kind of break the area cleanly, come back and retest the area, and that old area of sellers typically becomes a new area of buyers. So you have the ability to go that direction with it. Okay, or you just completely invalidate it. Once it draws past, you can say, okay, that's where it used to be. It's a violated zone at this point. Technically, there's no more orders there. You don't have to follow it. But a lot of times you will see that price tends to come back to those areas and play back in them again and again and again. So, all right. So, with that being said, no other questions. If you do have any questions, again, make sure you guys hit follow on the channel so you can see when we come online. For the new guys, welcome again. We will be here basically Monday through Thursday night. We do these presentations. Join us on Discord. You guys can click the button lower. You can see the YouTube channel. The Discord is up there. There's the schedule. And then if you need an X demo, you want to kind of mess around a little bit, go ahead and click the link at the bottom as well. So with that being said, guys, wait, hold on. I got something else from Lou. Sure, I'll snip it and send it to you on Discord. And if the zone is made on the 4 hour, does it need to close on the 4th in order to be? No, I mean, if you're using the 4 for whether it's a setup or not a setup, no, because the candle's not going to be closed. It'll still be moving. It'll still be green. In a downtrend, it's pulling back. It's looking for a zone. You find that zone on the lower time frame. Remember, the law of sixes. Okay. All right, guys, it's 10. I'm out of here. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Get us on Discord, and we'll see you guys over there. Take care.